Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sampson, Jim Jones, for another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today, our guest is Patrick Boylan. He's a UNLV Regent, and we're going to discuss about changing the legislation from Regent members to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree before running for higher education. But before we get to Mr. Boylan, Jim.
I don't really have anything. I'm just kind of under the weather today.
Oh, my God. I hope you're not contagious. Are you contagious?
I don't think so. I think it's just cold.
Okay. You think? You got a PhD in this? You medically examined yourself? Took some blood tests?
No, I don't have a PhD, that's for sure.
Okay. Regent Boylan.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, being on the board now, it's my third year. It's the first time I ran for the Regent position. I used to be on the Nevada State Board of Education, elected to that 2002 to 2006. Been in education just about all my life, training students, people I teach across the street at the community college.
CSN.
CSN, yeah. 20 plus years ago. 1991 to 2001.
Okay.
I was teaching at community college. So I like education. I love education, actually. It's fun to me. You get paid to talk. I mean, where else do you get that? You teach, share your knowledge.
Yeah.
So I've been in education a long time. I've enjoyed it. And I thought the best thing would be to help with the policies and decision-making in higher ed.
Okay.
So threw my hat in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's not the easiest thing. Every time you go for office, I think you know it. Have you run for office? You get that. So you know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have a commitment and a desire to do it. So I'm in it for this 6 years. I've got 3 more. So let's see what happens after that.
Speaking of that, I'm tired of people that never ran for office. Is telling people how to run for office.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean?
That doesn't, yeah.
That's like going up to a rape victim and say, you know what, I know how you feel. No, you don't know a damn thing how you feel, how they feel.
Right.
So how somebody that never ran for office is telling people how to run for office? It's beyond me.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
So let's talk.
Sure.
Since you've been on the Regent, what have you accomplished?
I knew you'd ask that question. Well, we've accomplished plenty. We've changed some of the policies. And, like today, we had a meeting this morning, and we changed the policy on salary schedules. And you need, I think it's 9 votes out of 13, three quarters to make a policy change, which is a good thing. I like that. To have the board be responsible for the raises, like, for faculty and admin. It was the chancellor who could do that before.
Mm-hmm.
So we heard some complaints today, and I spoke to a few faculty before this.
Mm-hmm.
The last time the admin got humongous raises, that was a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
And the faculty didn't get them. Lately, they got a 12% COLA increase. I'm talking about the faculty now.
Mm-hmm.
The admin got the big, huge increases, which I don't think I had anything to do with that, because I would have fought that. Because I believe the faculty are the people in the trenches. They're the ones that are actually doing all the training, the teaching, helping bring about our new leaders or students or whatever. So that was one of the things. There's been plenty. I would have to write them all down to say, well, we've been successful. I do know that after COVID, our registration numbers are all going up.
Right.
I'm not taking credit for that. No. But I think that it's helping that people are coming back to education after COVID, because we had a tremendous drop.
Right.
Tremendous drop. Numbers exactly, I'd have to look them up.
Right.
But yeah, I'm hoping that we can get more things done, more policies changed, because some of the policies themselves hinder us because the way they were put together. I'm not sure why some regents before us People don't seem to remember that we're always different regions.
Right.
We're not the same regions that did something 20 years ago.
Right.
We change every 3 years. Next year there'll be more regions coming and changing, or some of them might stay on. I don't know.
How important is the Board of Regent?
I think it's really important. It's like having a military and not having any generals, is how I look at it. I mean, it's like they make the policies. Some generals I know. I saw your smile. I get it.
They take orders from dumb civilians.
That's what, right, there you go. And so in a way we take orders from civilians because they vote us into office.
Right.
Hopefully you get the right people running for the right thing.
So exactly, what is the day-to-day operation of a Board of Regent?
There is none. There is no such thing as a day-to-day because we are not paid. This is a voluntary position. We all have our own lives, different things, 13 different people.
Volunteer means that you decide to run
Yes.
for office and put your name on the ballot.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And voluntary.
Not that they draft you in.
No, they don't draft us. Voluntary meaning we don't get paid for this. We get $80 a meeting, which...
Well, let's say we take away that $80 a meeting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the regents will still show up.
Oh,
So you do get paid.
I think...
You don't get much,
Yeah.
but you get paid.
Yeah, but
I mean, if you go to your meeting and you didn't get your check for $80, you're gonna get mad. Like, where's my money?
I don't think so. I think that's...
Well, some of the regents would.
I don't know about that because, like we were talking earlier, that would be...
Because if it was really a volunteer position, as you so put it, and you don't get paid for it,
All right.
why don't you have all the regents donate their $80 a meeting to their favorite charity?
That's a great idea. You should talk to all of them and see.
Right?
I honestly believe that no one is that hard up in the board that we would miss that $80. But it's not just the 8. Let me finish.
Okay.
It's not the 8 hours of the meeting. We spend at least 20 to 30 hours or even more for each meeting on our own time. So if you want to come down to 80 hours, we're getting less than $1 an hour for doing this work. Okay. And I don't know, but I don't think any regent would be so hard up and say, oh my God, I didn't get my $80.
Fine. Well, let's put it in different perspective.
Sure.
So if I pull up your C&E report, how much did you spend to become a regent? And how much time did you put into becoming a regent?
Well, I'll tell you firstly, time, I spent a lot. We spent all our time calling people because it was COVID in those days. Right. That people didn't want to see you at that door. So we spent a lot of time calling people, talking to people, saying, okay, I'm running, I've got this educational background, and I want to do this. How much did I spend? Zero.
You spent zero?
I spent zero. I just did it all by word of mouth. My family and friends in this town, people know me from being an educator, from being on the State Board of Education, and my sons and their friends. It was spending time. That's what we spent. Was time.
So you have a different perspective than some. Some people would use this position as a ladder to get to another position.
I'm sure that's possible. We've had we've had a congresswoman right now, congresswoman before that. We had Steve Sisolak, who was the governor. And if I thought it was correct for me to do after 6 years, I might say, okay, let me see. These legislative guys are always talking about destroying the regions. Why is that? Maybe I'll run for legislature. I don't know. Maybe I'll run for Congress, but I didn't get into being a regent as a stepping stone for another thing. Now, once you're in, you realize, wow, there's other positions that could help education even more, especially the legislature. I mean, even the governor. He has a lot to do with the funds that come to us through the legislature, etc. So if they use it as a stepping stone, Shelley is a good friend of mine. I know her.
Shelley Berkeley?
Shelley Berkeley, yeah.
She was on a region.
She was our regent, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was a great congresswoman too.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do it, hey, you gain experience to a higher office, and you can help education. Why not? You can help everybody.
So was Steve Sisolak, but a lot of people say he was
That's
a
right.
shitty governor.
Right? I won't say anything.
I'll say it for you.
I know he was also a commissioner. I know that.
Yeah, when he was on the County Board of County Commissioner. He
Yes,
he was good at that,
but as a governor, he wasn't.
Governor's shitty because he excommunicated people, and you can't excommunicate people if you're a public servant.
What do you mean by that?
That means not returning their calls.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
See, no, that's not right.
Like cricket them, ghosting them is what we call it.
That's not right.
Yeah. So, do you have lobbies that go to the legislature to amend and change policy or anything like that?
We have, I wouldn't say a lobbyist, but we have somebody who's in that position. I forget his name, young fellow, really good.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the legislature, and we will guide him. Admin will guide him on our positions and needs and how the legislature can help education. But as lobbyists, I don't know if we have any lobbyists. I've never heard of that we pay somebody to lobby for us.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's job is.
Yeah, I think they're called legislative liaison.
That's the guy that but he's an employee of Entry. He's not a lobbyist.
So he's a legislative liaison that go in front of legislatures to get bills passed that helps advance higher education.
Yes, sir.
Within the UNLV, UNR,
yep,
and all those other colleges, right? So you have somebody that actually does that.
Yeah, and
so they're actually lobbying.
I suppose you could say that they're lobbyists because our admin also goes up to the legislature. Okay. Some of the people, the chair, he went to the legislature a few times, and I think there's someone else who does it from up north. Yes. And they also go to the legislature. So are these all lobbyists for us? Yeah, sure. I'd be a lobbyist. I'd say good things about NSHE and education. Would that make me a lobbyist? Yeah. So how long have you been on the region now? 3 years. This is my third year. Yeah.
How many hours do you think you spend a month?
Depending upon when there's a meeting, like this meeting came up, it was only 2 items this morning. Mm-hmm. I could spend looking up because I make sure that I check all the policies, everything that they give us. Mm-hmm. This is Article 1, Chapter 2, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm going to check that one. I'm going to check the next one. I want to make sure that they're telling us the correct things. I would spend at least 20 hours doing research, talking to different presidents, talking to
presidents,
the chancellor.
You mean like the chancellors?
No, the presidents of the colleges or universities, they'll call us. If there's something they want to explain to us, because they know it better than we do. Okay. Anytime. I mean, they're in it, they're running it every day, 40, 60 hours a week.
So you have the former governor, Brian Sandoval, who's running UNR, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Who's running UNLV?
Is Dr. Whitfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you believe that you have a good grasp on what's happening within the colleges here in Nevada, do you?
Just about after 3 years, just enough knowledge
more than the average person.
Yeah, to be dangerous.
To be dangerous.
I would say just enough.
And do you believe that there are certain policies and certain legalities you probably would want to change or curve or amend?
Yes.
And what would those be?
Well, there's been a few that came up. Like I said, this morning we changed one policy.
What's that?
That was about the salary schedules.
Okay.
That was a policy we changed. And we usually have...
Saturday schedules, what's that? What does that mean?
Salary
Oh,
schedule.
salaries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, salaries.
Salaries, yeah.
Okay. I thought you said Saturday.
Saturday schedules. Everybody come to work for 5 hours on Saturday. Salary schedules.
Okay.
I'm not even drunk, and you can't understand me.
Where are you from? Where are you from? What's your accent from?
I'm Irish.
Irish.
Yes, and Indian.
You sound more like British. To me.
Well, yeah, I spent a lot of time in British Irish schools.
Oh, British Irish.
Yeah, but nuns and priests, they were the Irish and the British.
Those
Nuns and
priests
priests.
love their wine, though, I tell you.
Well, some of them did. I'm sure they did.
And they're Scotch.
I don't know about Scotch.
I don't know about Scotch.
I'm sure they like the wine. The poor nuns didn't get any, so that's a shame. It's the priests took it all, but they're good people too. But yeah, we just about every other meeting we change some policies, hopefully to make something better for the system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I remember which ones we've done in the last 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
No, I couldn't tell you right away, but you can look them up real easy on the website.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is this, and I remember when you ran last election, and you had company when you ran last election. Because it was, how many seats were available for the region?
For the regions, there were 5.
5 seats. Yeah,
there was.
So I remember when
5 of us.
When a whole bunch of candidates was running for region. Some came before us for endorsements.
Yes, right.
And
I did.
We looked up a few.
Yeah.
We looked up a few, and what we noticed was there was a race when one candidate, he had American name, and another candidate had an Indian name.
Mm-hmm.
And the candidate with the American name, spoke clearly,
mm-hmm.
And the candidate with the Indian name spoke with a heavy accent. But the candidate with the American name is a college dropout.
Mm-hmm.
And the candidate that has 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree, his entire family are a bunch of professors, didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like, I'm saying to myself, what is going on? This guy has an extended resume to be a university regent.
All right.
So people students in college would look up to that person, right?
True.
I mean, because you got all these degrees, you're a regent, I'm gonna look up to you. But if people know that some of these regent, or one of these regent folks was a college dropout,
mm-hmm.
You wouldn't want to look up to a person like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see the policy or the criterias change to become a regent. For example, I remember when Joe Bonaventure ran for Justice of the Peace.
Right.
He practiced law 2 years
mm-hmm.
in the state of Nevada and became a judge.
Mm-hmm.
And people are scratching their heads and like, oh my God, that's not right. So now they changed the criteria for Justice of the Peace, saying that you have to practice law in the state of Nevada for 5 years before you could before you could put your name on the ballot
mm-hmm.
to become a Justice of the Peace.
Right.
Clark County Sheriff, when they had all these hooyahs running for sheriff, ding dong down the street. This other guy doesn't know anything about cops, probably a cop hater. Hate cops.
Yep.
And all you got these slew of 100 people running for a Clark County sheriff.
I remember that. Yeah.
Somebody said, they know nothing about law enforcement. How the hell are they going to become a Clark County sheriff?
True.
So what they did was change the criteria.
Mm-hmm.
To become a Clark County sheriff. You have to be a post 2 certified. You have to be a cop in some capacity.
Some experience. Right?
I believe it was, I think it's 5 years. You have to be a cop before you can run for sheriff. I'm not sure on the timeline of that, but you have to be in law enforcement, period.
That's good. Yep.
So if you have to be in law enforcement to be a sheriff,
yep.
and you have to be a practicing law for a certain amount of time before you could become a judge, why in God's name there is no criteria saying you have to have a bachelor's degree or a very minimum of associate's degree, which
Some
I think
college
that's
experience.
really minimum,
Right.
to become a higher education board of regent. Doesn't that make sense to you?
It makes total sense to me, my friend. It's it's something that I haven't understood myself, and that's something you have to take up with the legislature. Especially when you bring it up with the sheriff's position and the judge position, those are good arguments. Otherwise, we'd have to say, okay, if you want to be in the legislature, everybody has to be a lawyer.
And
that would be terrible.
Yeah. Well, we don't want lawyers in the
We
legislature.
don't want lawyers. No, we don't. I agree with you on that too.
We don't want lawyers in the legislature.
There's enough of them on there right now, and
but we want educators
right
on the Board of Regent.
I agree with you totally, my friend.
So it just doesn't take one person to make a call. It takes many of us to make a call. Members of the Board of Regents could also make this call and talk to their liaison that lobbies, or if you don't want to call it lobbies, okay, let's not call it lobby, that meet with legislators to get policy change for higher education. Why can't this be part of that legislative liaison meeting with a legislature? And why can't members of the Board of Regent call up and say, hey, we need to make policy changes here. We have people in college that are praising terrorists.
Yes.
That are rallying for terrorists that goes to college. There's something wrong with the system.
There's something wrong with the system.
So why am I the only smart one here? Am I the only one that got some freaking balls that say we need policy change?
Yes.
I mean, why can't somebody just say, pick up the phone and get it done? It's the argument is there. They already changed it in different races. Why can't they change it for higher education, Board of Regent, we're creating the future presidents, the future CFOs, the future entrepreneurs, the future leaders of this country. Why isn't it not starting with the higher education and changing those policies and saying, hey, you want to run for Board of Regent, you have to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree, a 4-year degree to run for Board of Regent. It's called higher education for a freaking reason.
All right. And that's why the legislature, someone has to bring it up to the legislature.
Now, the legislature is not going to bring it up. Somebody has to. I know how it works.
Okay. Well,
let me tell you.
Go.
Veterans Court.
Yeah.
When Jennifer Elliott came to me, judge, and they said, "Hey, we need a veterans court." She came to me. We talked. And then we went to Barbara Buckley, who was a speaker at the time of the assembly, and we got the bill done. It was a judge that came to me and asked me to team up with her to get Veterans Court for veterans. A legislature is not going to think of this all by themselves. They're going to need somebody from the Board of Regent to give them a call and say, hey, we need to change this policy. Or that Board of Regent called their legislative liaison to go have a meeting with some legislators so they could change policies. That's how it works. If you think you're going to sit there and an assemblyman is going to say, you know what, I'm just going to go and change the policy for Regent. They don't know nothing about it unless you bring it to their attention.
But they did. They did do it. They tried to change, and they want to change it from 6 years to 4 years. No regent called them and said, "Oh, hey, wait a minute, we don't want to be on this board for 6. We like running for."
That's a different
same thing.
subject.
They want to change,
and the reason changing the years from 4 to 6.
Yeah, and then they want to change
totally different
the number of people
than
in
saying
that.
you have to be you have to have a college degree.
You're right. No,
to be a Board of Regent. I mean, a college degree and Board of Regent. What a freaking concept.
What a concept,
They don't say college dropout
You're right.
and Board of Regent. I mean, how you become a college dropout
and then
become a Board of Regent? And how do you beat somebody that has 2 bachelors, a master's, an entire family, all professors. How do you beat somebody like that when you're a college dropout?
It comes to the people. The people voted whoever this person is in or the other person not in. It's the system, like you said. Now, one more thing.
But hold on just 1 minute, Regent Boylan. But if you change the policy from the beginning, the college dropout wouldn't have put his name on the ballot.
Yeah, if there was a policy like that, yeah. See, that's why I come back to the same thing. Now they want to change the number of regents on the board. No regent called them and said, oh, you know what? It was the legislators themselves who did it. Both things. Nobody approached them and said, make these changes. Mm-hmm. Now, they need to know if there's anyone in the legislature that you thinks the same way, they should go for it and do the same thing.
So how do you feel about that?
I agree with you totally.
Okay.
I totally agree with you. I have the same concept that the presidents of each college and university and the chancellor, they should all have PhDs because PhDs are answering up to them. Mm-hmm. I think that they should come from education. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of regents and a lot of people who say, hey, it's okay, just bring them from the outside. No higher education experience. I don't agree with that at all.
You know, it's funny because when a manager goes and promotes or hire a person, what's the first thing they ask you?
How much experience do you have?
How much experience do you have?
Right.
Or what type of schooling do you have, right?
Yes, sir.
But when you have somebody that has absolutely zero experience in higher education and a high school dropout, would you make that person, if you were hiring, put it this way, if you were appointing, instead of electing, if you were appointing somebody for the Board of Regent and you had a high school dropout over here with a nice American name, and you had a guy over here with an Indian sounding name, but the college dropout is a college dropout, so we already know where he stands. And the guy over here has two bachelors and a master's. His entire family is into teaching. He probably still paying off his student loans to get where he is. Who would you pick?
Well, and in a political situation, an appointee, it's always who gave the politicians more money.
No, well,
then they'll appoint those people.
Well, I've been to a lot of judicial selection committee meetings when they looking for judges, and they usually go with the person most of the time with the most experience.
I agree with you. Yep, and it should be like that way. Yeah, it should be, and I agree with you. We should have people who have college experience in this position to lead.
A degree, college degree, not a 10 and drop out.
You know,
because I could go in the military and drop out. Well, what do I get?
That's right.
Well, what do I get? I will get a dishonorable discharge. Yeah. And once I get a dishonorable discharge, nobody will want to hire me.
They won't hire you. No.
Exactly.
Yep. No, I totally agree with you on this point.
So why don't you be front man on this? Why don't you make these calls?
I've never thought about that, but have you thought about other regions? Have you heard from any of them?
Why don't you name all the regions so that the viewers and listeners, because this is a live show, so that the viewers and listeners could know what regions they probably want to go and call up and say, hey, join Regent Boylan on this journey to make higher education exactly what it's supposed to be, higher education.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you want me to say the names? Oh, sure, they could look them up anytime on the internet. But of course, we have our chair, that's Brooks. Our vice chair is Arascada. Then I'll go by who have been there longer than us. There's Ms. Perkins. There's Amy Carvalho. There's Del Carlo from the north. Then there's Louis Tarkanian, the old Tarkanian basketball guy's wife. There's Susan Braga. Oh, no, she's newer. Then there's myself, Patrick Boylan, called me.
In fact, Lois Tarkanian has been on that region twice now.
This is our second time.
Yeah, she was on the Regent, and she was city council, and went back to Regent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
How did I miss that?
I don't know how
She
you miss it. If you want to know anything about somebody, just come and ask
I'll
me.
ask you. I'll ask you because I know she was on the school board, and then she went to
She was
the council.
on the Regent.
But she was on
Yeah,
University Regent. See, I missed that.
yeah.
I know that she was on the school board, like I'm saying. Well, the others are Jeff Downs, the new person. Well, new. He's been there 6 months now. Heather Brown. I don't want to miss anyone and have them upset and so, oh, no. But who sits next? So I'm trying to now picture them. And then there is, I said Del Carlo.
Right.
Breda.
And these
Torzinovos, yes.
yeah. And these Board of Regents.
And McMichaels. Yeah, don't want to forget.
I mean, once you start reading their bio,
Yes.
you'll find out who is the one that don't have a college degree. It's really easy.
Mm-hmm. Say, there you go. You go to the bios, go to the website, you'll find out everything about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it should be because the people have elected them.
Right.
And we represent the people. It's our fiduciary duty to be prepared, to know, and to come with some knowledge.
And sometimes the people are misinformed and the people don't do their homework, and I call them uneducated voters.
Yes.
But you know what? If you want to get rid of the uneducated voters, all you got to do is change the criteria to begin with. And if you change the criteria, you won't have some college dropout part of the candidate list to pick from because that person couldn't make the criteria and wouldn't be there in the first place.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. And you brought up good points about the police and the judges. I see that even more clearly now.
Yes.
Where you're coming from, and I agree with you.
I think it's a slap in the face to the Board of Regent to have a college dropout on their regent.
You do, huh?
I think it's a real slap in the face, and it makes me lose respect for that body.
Why is it the body? It's not the body that elected him. It's
true.
the
It's
people.
not the body. It's not the body that elected him. But anybody on that body could have picked up a phone and changed it, just like they did for Justice of the Peace, just like they did for the Clark County Sheriff. Anybody could have picked up that phone and changed it. Because if I was on that body, I'll be like, oh, you know what? We need to have educators on our panel.
Yes,
we're representing UNLV, UNR.
Yep.
We're trying to educate these young minds from high school.
Yep.
I mean, they stop at high school and give them college degrees so they could go out in the world and run our country, you know?
Yep. And
so, that's how I look at it.
I agree with you. And UNLV, UNR are top-notch research universities, so why not?
And you have CSN. What other colleges do you guys make policies for?
All of them, all of the colleges and universities.
Could you name them?
Yeah, there's the WNC up north.
What's the W?
There's Western Nevada College.
Okay.
And then we now have the new Nevada State University. Okay. It was Nevada State College.
Okay.
To 3 community colleges here. And there's 3 more up north. If I can't remember their names. I know there's one in Elko. And there's one just outside Reno. I'd have to look it up.
So this is a 6-year seat?
It's a 6-year seat, yeah.
So that college dropout, you know who you are. It's a 6-year seat. If I was you, I'll start doing online courses and get my bachelor's degree before these policy changes. Maybe I should concentrate on my education since you're telling everybody else about there's Byron Brooks.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
I wanted to say from the very beginning, but I just had to go through the whole thing to paint the picture for everybody.
Painted the picture.
Yes. So I need the regents to start looking into this and start changing the policy on the standards. How could you change the standards on the students when you can't even change the standards on yourselves?
Yeah, see, we can't make that policy. That's up to the legislature.
I know.
Yeah.
But nobody's picking up the phone.
Yeah.
And you know how I know this?
Mhm.
Because I talked to the legislatures
Mhm.
and I asked them, did anybody come and, ask you to do a BDR, which is a bill draft request,
Yep.
to change
I know
policy
that
on
one, yeah.
criteria
Yeah.
about what's going on, about making it so that a minimum of a bachelor's degree to become a regent. And they said the answer was goose eggs. Nobody came to them about
Good.
that.
So you've spoken to them about that. What have they done?
About what?
About making it a bachelor's
They
degree?
want regents to start being involved.
They want regents.
They want regents to call them up. I mean, they say, well, these regents, they send these legislative liaison over to us,
Mhm.
but they don't send them with that to change the criteria to become a Board of Regent.
Right. That's an interesting one.
They want the regents to be involved in this.
I wish they'd wanted the regents to be involved in the 6-year, 4-year term and the lessening of regents from 13 to 9. They didn't ask us for that.
No.
But they want this.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it?
I like it.
Yeah. But I guess when it was the sheriff, to change the sheriff to you got to be a law enforcement
Makes
officer,
sense. Yes,
it was
sir.
cops that made those calls.
Good.
Okay.
It makes sense.
The same thing when the 2 year to 5 years there wasn't a time restriction to run for judge back when Joe Bonaventure did it. Although he's an excellent judge by far, but still, he still practiced law for 2 years while people did 30 years and 10 years and 5 years and 8 years,
Yes, sir.
So they had a lot more experience.
Mhm.
But it was judges that made those calls to the legislature to change that.
That's good.
And
like that.
no, Joe, I'm not going to tell you what judges it was. But it was judges that made those calls.
And they should.
So they want the Board of Regent to kind of be involved, to say, hey, we need, if we're going to tell these kids that they need to be educated,
right?
We need to be educated,
Total sense. Makes total sense.
Some of these regents still have student loans that they have to pay for.
I do.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
So how is it fair? How is it fair to you that you got your education?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And you pay for your student loan, and you got some schmuck over here as a dropout,
right?
That's sitting right next to you, and became the damn chair. I don't even know how the hell that happened, but
I voted for him to become the chair.
Why? How did he?
Hate talking about it.
How did he wow
someone
you?
who's not here or not present. I really do. I hate.
Well, you're talking about him in a positive way, right? Because you voted for him.
Yes, because I voted for him.
Okay, it's a positive way.
He was the most reliable person running for chair at that time, and our previous chair, McAdoo, also favored him. So did the previous chair. He's a doctor. I forget his name now. He's an eye specialist. See, I remember all these things, but names I'm terrible. And the former chair, Geddes, from up north. So a lot of people felt that he was the best person for the position.
I wish I had a vote.
I'm sure you do, but I have no interest in that position at all.
Yeah,
I don't want to be.
Maybe nobody wanted it, and
there were a few people who wanted
that really wanted it.
Yeah, and I guess we'll find out now in December, at the end of this month. Mm-hmm. We have to do the election again for the chair and vice chair, and we'll find out. Mm-hmm. No one has spoken to me lately about running for that position. Yeah. That they, please support me, or I'm the one running. No one has said anything to me. So I don't even know who all will be running.
Do you need an invitation? Why don't you
for what?
Put your name on the...
No, I don't want to. No.
Oh, you don't want to do it?
I don't want to be the chair. No, thank you. It's lonely at the top.
And what's the responsibilities to be the chair?
Well, the chair, main responsibility is to get the agenda items all together for the next meeting. What's going to go on the agenda? Sometimes I think that's a bit too much authority is given to one person. But they be a liaison to the regents, to the legislature, and they represent NSHE in any function or being a signatory to some papers and all. I don't know myself exactly what they have to do in all the different ways, but they do a lot of work. I do know that. And then usually they do get in touch with all the regents to explain to them what's coming up on the meeting, if they have questions, if they have any ideas or changes or something. And, you're herding 13 different people from different walks of life. So it's not an easy job.
Sure, it's not.
I think it's tough being up there at the top. And the chairs have always got it from me. I've asked questions because I ask direct questions. And I'm not there, like I said, to make friends with anybody. I'm there to do a job. Sorry.
No, so this is one question I've always
Yes,
been
sir.
asked. Who schedules when these meetings take place?
The chair and the admin, they schedule the 4 meetings that are scheduled every year that are the main quarterly meetings. They're scheduled, they're kind of set at these days and this time we'll do that. Then in between, they could be like today we had one agenda item that was put on this meeting. It was requested by 3 regions. You have to have 3 regions to request an agenda item. That was to change the voting from December back to June and July like it used to be. So you can request that. Now, the committee chairs can request a meeting on any day, any time. But then, of course, you have to see are those people available on that day or time. But then it all goes back to the chair. So he or she, whoever it is, does have a lot of responsibilities to take care of all these things and to be the face of it, NSHE and the board.
You remember before I mentioned that some people use this region as a stepping stone.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people, well, some people like power and control.
Why?
So as being the chair is a power and control thing.
Very much so.
Usually a lot of narcissists likes the power and control.
Yeah, that's true. That's true in everything in life.
Yes.
Yes.
So
that's true.
So
I'm not a narcissist then because I don't want to be.
I already know that.
Because I don't want it.
You are definitely not a narcissist.
Right. It's above my pay grade. They don't pay me enough. One tab at the bar with my friends, that $80 is gone. So I'm like, okay, I can only go
one tab at the bar. Drinks for every no, take that back. Just you four right
just
here.
4 of you. Nobody else. That's a good way to put it.
And no chicken fingers.
No chicken fingers. Not as nice as the spread you had one time. Chicken fingers and drinks and everything.
Which one?
Down south. That was about 4-6 years ago. When you ran for something, I remember. And everybody came there talking to you guys. It was some cafe or something.
Was it that? It wasn't that cigar place, was it? On Las Vegas Boulevard?
No. It was either Valley View or one of the streets that goes all the way nearly to 215.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, that was the first time I was running for, not the first time.
I had a good spread there?
You had a good spread there.
Oh.
Yeah, you put it on and I was like, I like this guy. I should be friends with him.
He knows how to eat.
I know. Yes. But yeah.
So, Regent Boylan.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything else that we want to cover that we haven't covered?
Yeah, we've covered it, but again, I'd like to say that we need the legislature to look into this and make a move like they've done to make changes on the board. And the main reason they're wanting to do this is to take away all the elected people. Is when they're in power, they want to give those positions to friends and the people who've given them good money.
Right.
Everybody likes to say, "Oh, I'm a regent. I'm on the board of State Board of Education. I'm on this board, that board, whether you're qualified or not. But let's put you in just because you gave me good money and supported me in my political campaign contributed to me or something. So I think this would be something really good for the next legislative session if you want to put it out there and say, look, these legislatures are interested board members, regents. They are interested in knowing how you feel about this. Because I cannot pick up my phone and say, hey, Joe Blow, I know you're a legislator, and I want you to do this about, let's have an educated
Sure they would.
regent.
Someone would pick up the phone.
I'll give you a wee bit of work too. Give those names and send them to all the regents and say, look, these legislators
are
interested in this
Some
topic.
of these legislators might do something for me, but they probably won't do it for you, and vice versa. Maybe they might do it for you, and they won't do it for me.
But this topic about having the educated,
a lot of them feel that's the way it should go, but like I said earlier, they want to make sure that the regents.
They are so sweet. I love them.
I know, but they won't. They want to change your 6 years to 4 on their own.
Yeah.
I get that.
And
I get
want to
that.
take the board members up to being elected. They want to be elected.
I get that.
But they want to have non-elected members on the board.
But I guess when it comes to changing the criteria,
with you on that,
the resume of somebody,
yes, sir.
They want to hear it more from the regent to make that. I guess this is different than a 4 to 6 year thing or a 6 to 4 year thing, because it's. I mean, it's a numbers game. It's a lot different. I mean, on a legislature, I can say, okay, let's change the Board of Regents from 6 years to 4 years, which is not really a big deal, for some people, right? But then when it comes to, okay, you need a minimum of a bachelor's degree to be a university regent.
That's a good point.
That takes regents to say, hey, just like they did for judges. Judges made those calls to change it to a 5-year thing for JPs, and law enforcement made those calls to say you need to be a cop before you run for sheriff.
That is good. I personally think most of them haven't even thought about it. Are there any other regents who don't have a college degree right now?
No, that's the only one.
Okay, see, no one has even thought about it.
Because people would assume that you are a college educated with a degree because you're running for a Board of Regent. That's an assumption that people should never make.
They shouldn't.
But they make it though.
Yes.
So a lot of people assume, but that's not the case.
So I agree with you. That's why I know why I like this guy. This doesn't put on good spreads, but he agrees with me. So no, I totally agree with you, bro. I really do. I think it's great what you're doing, what your fellow vets are doing at this. It's awesome. We all come to you when we're running for office because we're hoping to get support from you because we know that you're doing something good. Not just, hey, I like Steve. I'm going to go and say hi to him.
You know what I hate with what a lot of these organizations that endorse. In fact, some of them shouldn't be endorsing candidates because some of them is a 501c3, which they shouldn't endorse the candidate. They could lose their tax exemption.
That's true.
Some of them shouldn't, and nobody's calling them out.
Yep.
But these organizations that people pick up the phone, like the incumbents, they pick up the phone and they say, "Hey, I need your endorsement." Okay. On the other end of the phone, they endorse them without even vetting all the candidates. I think that's a shame.
That's a shame.
And these organizations that said, well, we only endorse incumbents, but yet they don't reach out to the other candidates, the challengers, to say, what? Yeah. Don't show up, waste your time with us because we're only going to endorse incumbents.
Wow.
It's like people say, well, it's veterans in politics. You're supposed to just endorse veterans. No. I mean, being a veteran is a plus.
Yep.
Thank you for your service.
True.
We're going to really pay attention to what you have to say, but we're also going to be listening to these other candidates who are not veterans.
Which is the best thing to do.
And maybe they have a different policy that we agree with, that we don't agree with you, Mr. Veteran,
right.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And we're the only organization that put our endorsements on live, just like the show, put it live.
Good, yeah.
That way nobody could say, you need to edit that.
Right.
It's already out there, baby.
It's out there too late. I love it.
You understand what I'm saying? And they don't open it up to the public like that. They do it in closed doors, and they go, well, Jack over there, he gave us a $5,000 deal. We need to endorse him.
Yeah. And
Now in this election cycle, I've done personal endorsement, and people don't understand what that word means. It means that
it's
did
you.
it
It's
on
not
my
your
own.
organization. Exactly.
I'm not saying that the organization did it.
Right. Oh, I'm so glad he said that. So I can say, I am supporting this. It's not the Board of Regents that's doing it. It's my personal opinion. When you said that we should have somebody with the college degree.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up.
There you go. That's your disclaimer.
That's my disclaimer. I never do disclaimers, but that was a good one. You reminded me. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Jim, do you have anything else for Regent Boylan?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I would like you to try to push for this, or to get just make a couple phone calls.
Will do.
Okay.
Mr. Regent Boylan, do you have anything else?
Because
I'm going to give you your closing. So if you have anything other than the closing.
No.
Okay. Mark's going to zoom in on you.
Yeah.
And then you can say whatever you want to the good people out there.
Okay.
And you could give your point of contact.
All right. Sounds good. Go ahead. All right. Well, I'm Patrick Boylan, elected to the Board of Regents. Education is so important to us. We bring about and train and educate our future leaders. We train and educate lots of people who need help to make it in life. Education always helps you. They've done studies where somebody with a college degree makes 80% or to 70% more money over their lives than someone without a college degree. I don't say that's everything. It's not for everybody. And sometimes if you're going to do underwater basket weaving, well, you're not going to get a job and you won't have money out of that. So I think we need all the trades too. But education is something that will widen your horizons, I should say. And we have some great colleges and universities here in Nevada. I know, like I said earlier, UNR and UNLV are R1 top-notch rated research universities doing great stuff, especially in robotics and other stuff. So if you want to look them up, you can get in touch with me anytime. Just go to the board site, the website, and click on my name of picture, and you'll see that I'll call you back. No matter what, I'll call you back or I'll text you back. I don't know my official text phone number right now, because I never call myself, so I don't remember it. But just go to the website for ENSHI and look up all the courses we have. I'm the chair of the Health Sciences Committee, and I want all the nurses, especially out there, the health sciences people, to know we have some good programs. It's not just the 2 medical schools. There's lots of other stuff there. So check us out. And I'd like to give a shout out to Veterans in Politics, especially to Steve and Jim and your brother. Thanks for being there. What was your name, brother? Marcus Aurelius. Well, thank you. And I appreciate you guys calling me and letting me explain my point of view too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Regent Boylan. Thank you for coming on the program. Thank you, Jim Jonas. Folks, that's Patrick Boylan. He is the UNLV Board of Regent. He's the State Board of Regent.
Yes, yeah, right.
He's the State Board of Regent for the state of Nevada. And we were discussing changing the policies when it comes to running for higher education. This is Steve Sampson, Jim Jones for Veterans in Politics. Until next time.